You're now tuned in to the Soulful Stir with Tash and Symoné. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. It's your girl Tash.
And I'm Symoné.
And welcome to the Soulful Stir.
Yeah, one more episode. We are at episode number 18, and that's very wild.
We've been at this for 18 weeks. I don't think I ever did anything for 18 weeks besides go to school and work.
Yeah. Once you locked into those two, it's like,
that's
damn.
it. That's it.
I guess I'm going to be here. Yeah.
But I'm glad we made it to 18 weeks. This has been a very great 18-week ride. Not only have we, kind of both stepped out of our comfort zone and started to, are starting to be or come into our true selves, put it that way. I think also we're growing too in our friendship because when you work with people, it's a little difficult. Not saying that our situation has been difficult, but I'm just saying like it teaches you a lot. And I think we've learned a lot about each other over the past 18 weeks. And I'm thankful. I'm really grateful. It's been a very great experience so far. I can't wait till we take off and things really, really, go where they're supposed to go, because I'm manifesting trips and brand deals and all kind of stuff. So I think we're really going to, it's going to be a good ride.
I believe in that, and I receive that. And I agree. I'm excited to see where all of this goes. And I can say that we have both collectively grown quite a bit, in pod life and in real life too, just learning, the way that all this goes and being consistent and just putting our best foot forth with all of this, and also just being sheer. I think this is probably the most that I've shared publicly with anyone.
Oh, for sure. Definitely me.
Just to get on a mic and we share so much about ourselves and our lives and what we're up to and what we're doing. That's not the norm for me. So I'm enjoying it actually, and I'm enjoying the questions and the comments and the DMs and the phone calls and texts that I get about the podcast. I really love when people find out, like, oh, you have a podcast?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, you should go and listen to it.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, you're funny. Like, they was like, you should be a comedian. Like, and it's crazy because if people that hang around me know, like, the stuff I say, it just roll off my tongue. Like, it's never intentionally to be funny. I just think that I'm a character, and like the inflection in my voice, the way I say certain stuff and what I say, it just comes off funny. And this person was like, you should be a comedian. And I'm like, oh, that's why we got the podcast, because,
this is your
talking shit is my love language.
Hey, but you could. I think you should do a stand-up session one night. You should just do it. I think that would land really well. I know that's not something that you probably want to do, like in theory, but I just think it'd be fun.
I don't know. I've always thought about it, but the thing is, I think, like, it's hard. I think with stand-up and stuff like that, you have to, like, literally prepare a set. You know what I'm saying? It's like being an artist, like writing a song. And I think, and I might be wrong, but I think I'm just more funny, like, in conversation, because naturally I kind of go off of what other people say. And I think that's why it comes off, because, like, somebody will say something and I'll have, like, a really witty comeback and just say something real quick and people would just bust out laughing. And it's crazy because I even do that at work. I do it at work.
That's like Matt Rife. That guy, his whole set is like based off a conversation with the audience.
Yes.
Like, they tell him something and he says something back. But I think that you're like just naturally like funny, just on the fly. Yeah. And even like you don't be trying to, but you don't try to be. But it's like, dang, why she say that? It's just so funny. I don't know. I'm manifesting that for you. If it's something that you even just crosses your mind at any point again.
Well, that actually is a good segue, I think, into our first segment of Tell Me Something Good.
Yeah, tell me something good.
I have officially trying to be more intentional about this content, and I've been literally posting on TikTok every day. I haven't been posting every day on the Pods account, only because I want that to be a little bit more structured, but like what my goal has been, or my intention was or has been, which is to share my genuine personality and just kind of talk candidly on my own account. You know, when people comment, I'm like, hey, go listen to my podcast, go listen to this. And that's a way for me to kind of sell myself and say like, hey, if you want to listen to more of me and my friend, you go and listen to this, listen to our podcast. And it's actually opened me up to drop like shameless plugs and comments like, hey, if y'all talking about this, we talked about this on our podcast. So I've been very intentional. Even though I've been on a social media sabbatical, I purposely kept my TikTok open because we have our account on TikTok. So I wanted to be able to run that temporarily while you take care of the Instagram side of things. And it's been working. Like, I've been getting a lot of traction. And so I'm going to start being, just a little bit more intentional about other stuff for the pod on TikTok. But I definitely have gotten into that bag somewhat. But with that being said, I do want to apologize because I was supposed to start Trash Literature Tuesday this week. And my life has just been crazy all week. Like, I've been helping friends, like multiple friends with court. I've been busy. I had a trial on Monday. Girl, I sat in a 6-hour hearing on Monday. Ooh. That had me stressed. And then I had this old nappy sew-in and I took it out. So now I'm back. I'm trying to get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't want to be on the pod
that would
TikTok.
Make or break a black
yeah,
woman.
like I really don't want to be on the pod TikTok with my hair looking all funky. So, we're going to start Trash Literature Tuesdays next week. It's still the same book. I will be taking recommendations as well, but I have found a few books that I want to add to the rotation. Just something to do, just something extra. We talked about it on the last episode, so I do apologize if you were looking forward to that this week. I will go ahead and make sure that it is prepared for next Tuesday. And I think that's it for me. I'm good. Like, I've been doing this content. I'm just trying to get comfortable with it. I'm trying to be open and a little more transparent just to make it funny, to make it organic. Because
I feel like that's the thing, is like getting comfortable with posting content, because again, we are in this new wave of learning to share more, and to be organic is always our goal. So it's trying to find that balance. I think that's probably the toughest thing right now, at least for me. And then also being consistent, because my I think about posting and I'm like, oh, but I also got to do this, and like I end up burning off a bunch of other stuff on my checklist, and half of the day's gone. I'm like, dang, I didn't get to post today. So hang in there with us, y'all. We working on it, and we're getting better day by day. Yes, definitely getting there, making progress. I do want to share, I went to Manchester, which is about 15 minutes outside of Ann Arbor, not Manchester International. I didn't go international, y'all.
Did you go to London? You got your passport? You was in the UK?
Right.
Girl.
No, I didn't go international. I was here in Michigan, but I went to Manchester, which is a small town, 15 minutes outside of Ann Arbor. And it's right up the street from Chelsea, Michigan, if you're familiar with Chelsea. But I have a good friend that lives out that way, and she reached out to me and was like, you want to come up for the day? And so I agreed and spent a day up there, and it was just such an interesting introduction to a new way of living for me. And I was like, dang, I could possibly do this. Like, I could possibly live in the middle of nowhere. I thought that for a second, but then all the key questions start hitting me, like,
yeah, because when you told me, I was like, girl, what? How many grocery stores is out there?
So they do have grocery stores, and because Ann Arbor is right there, and then you got Chelsea that's right there, a lot of the larger stores are in Ann Arbor or closer to Chelsea or within Chelsea. Which, another thing that I found out while I was up there, and I took a picture of it, is that, did you know the Jiffy factory is in Chelsea?
Jiffy cornbread?
Jiffy cornbread.
That's so crazy, because I was just talking about Jiffy yesterday.
It's the only place that they make Jiffy cornbread. It's right here in Chelsea, and well, not right here in Chelsea because we're not in Chelsea, but in Michigan. It's the only place that they make Jiffy worldwide, which I thought was very interesting. So we ended up at the Jiffy factory, just walking around downtown Chelsea, and I had a chance to go to a couple farm stands, and it was just cool, like riding by her neighbors' houses. They have horses, and there's a horse stable, and y'all might not know this. I don't think I shared this on the pod yet, but I love horses so much so that I think I want to I don't think I know I'm going to take horseback riding lessons at some point. And I always wanted to have my own horse in theory, but then I think about the maintenance on that, and I'm not sure if I would be committed.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, and it's just a lot. So I don't think I would be committed in that way, but I would love to just be able to go to a stable and ride horses and, know how to properly handle a horse. But it was cool riding through Manchester and just seeing something completely different. It was so quiet, and for the most part, the weather was nice. She has a beautiful home, a bunch of land, and it was cool hearing about our neighbors. So it was just, her neighbors, she told me they were really cool, but I was thinking about that too. I was sitting on her back porch and thinking, dang, I know it get pitch black out here at night. There's no street lights. We were talking about how they lose power frequently out there because they're in such a rural area. And I'm like, girl, that sounds like a lot, for me to have to manage. But overall, I really enjoyed the day. I ended up getting some plants, of course, because you know me. I had some space in my garden bed, and I really wanted to get some more leafy greens. And I looked up on some Swiss chards, some rainbow Swiss chard, which are coming in really nicely since I planted them. And my friend actually bought them for me, so I was really grateful for that. But yeah, nice day in Manchester. That's my good news. And it was I just felt so enlightened after, and just felt lighter overall. And it wasn't as far as I thought it was going to be of a ride. Because I was prepared, thinking to myself halfway there, oh, I should have packed me a lunch. But it wasn't that bad of a ride. I'm definitely looking forward to going back. They had a fair and everything. So I'm just going to go and check out, I think the one in Chelsea, and probably check out some more of the small shops because a couple of the shops were closed when we were down there. So, we got food and just hung out and had good conversation and shopped around the farmers market. So that's my good news. I do want to jump into Mind, Body, and Balance. Did you have something for Mind, Body, and Balance?
I mean, kind of, but not really. I don't know if we talked about this before. So I have a bad habit. This is related, but not unrelated. It's related, but unrelated. So I have a bad habit of cleaning, but not really cleaning. For example, if I clean out my living room, I'll take everything into my room and just put it there so it's out of the living room, but nobody goes in my room. So I feel like I can clean it when I want to. So I say all of that to say that a few months ago, well, it's actually been more than a few months ago, but at one point in time when I was living in Atlanta, there was this lady called the Vitamin Lady, and I absolutely love this lady. She's a black lady, and she's a complete herbalist, and when I tell you, she is the bomb. A while ago, my mom and I took my mom when I went to Atlanta to go see her, to the Vitamin Lady, and she does eating for your blood type. Well, she gives you all these brochures about what foods you should eat for your blood type that causes inflammation, what you shouldn't eat, blah, blah, blah. Well, for the longest, my mama's been like, I can't find my paper. Can you please tell me what we're supposed to eat? So today I found my paper, and it's very weird because I knew this, but so I don't know if I've talked about this on the pod before, but I suffer from Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune illness that pretty much affects your colon, your stomach, and all of those functionings. Everybody that has Crohn's disease suffers differently. We have kind of the same symptoms, but a lot of people have different triggers. And once again, it's autoimmune. So stress and a lot of external factors will cause a flare up. I say that to say that I did mention on the pod before that for 7 years, I was completely vegan. And it's funny because that was probably literally when I say my physical and spiritual health were the best during that time. Like I just felt so clear, like I could manifest easy. I was feeling good and all of this good stuff. And so when I went back and found that paper today, I took a picture of it to send to my mom, like, hey girl, this is what you was looking for. Here you go. She's like, okay. And so when I started reevaluating that paper again, essentially my blood type is, I think we're A negative, but essentially with the blood type, it doesn't matter if you're negative or positive. A's, B's, and O's can all have the same things. Well, not all have the same things, but all A's can have the same thing. All B's can have the same thing, so on and so forth. And so when I looked at the paper, essentially, because I'm an A blood type, it's like a trillion different meats that I'm not supposed to eat because it causes inflammation. All these different cheeses, not feta though. Aha.
Okay, period.
Not feta.
Let's go right now.
Not feta, but when I tell you every cheese and dairy product, buttermilk, regular milk, like American cheese, blue cheese, cheddar cheese, like it's so many different things that I'm not supposed to eat. And it's weird. I'm not gonna say it's weird, but those things completely coincide with a vegan diet. Like literally it's like American cheese, blue cheese, brie, cheddar, Colby, cottage cheese, cream cheese, Gouda cheese, Gruyere, Swiss, Monterey Jack, Munster, Parmesan, provolone. I'm not supposed to eat none of those.
Dang,
It meats, it says beef, pork, Cornish hens, quail, duck, lamb, veal, venison, crabs, clams, lobsters, oysters, shrimp, scallops, flounder, catfish, caviar, halibut. All the things that I like are on this list of inflammatory foods. And so it really bothers me that it's like, okay, I understand why I started eating meat again and why I went, straight away from my vegan diet. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, now I can attribute a lot of these issues to something. And as you know, last week I had to go to the hospital because my Crohn's was flaring up. And for the first time, I'm gonna be honest, they gave me all these medicines. I did follow up with the doctor that you recommended to me. So I go see him in a few weeks so I can start going back to another specialist. Oh, but good. The medicine that they have given me, I realized that if I actually take it like I'm supposed to, I feel so much better. And a lot of that is acid reducers. And people don't realize that dairy and some of these stuff, like things, will cause an interruption with stomach acids. Mm-hmm. So I am, kind of going back to eating I want to go back to eating for my blood type. And I know that's going to entail a strict vegan diet. So I think I'm just going to kind of ease into it. Like really ease into it because I ain't going to lie. I'm not supposed to eat beef, but ever since I started back eating meat, I cannot stop eating oxtails, short ribs, and beef bacon. But in my defense, I'm allergic to eggs. So when I eat chicken, for some reason, I don't always feel the best. And I know there's a correlation there. So I eat beef because I'm on this fitness journey. So I've been trying to get heavy proteins. But once again, I can't eat eggs. So that takes out, a lot of the things that are high in protein and all these different things. And once again, cottage cheese is on my list of stuff I can't eat. So I think I'm about to go back to eating for my blood type. I do too, with some good pineapples or some peaches. Love it.
Or some pears.
I love cottage cheese. I love cream cheese. I put cream cheese in my grits. Like it's a big thing for me.
I never thought to put cream cheese in my grits.
It makes it so creamy. Oh my God.
I put heavy cream in it though.
Well, for one, let's start there. I don't eat white grits either. I love yellow grits. I like polenta, corn grits, and those are already more creamy anyway. But I put like cream cheese, heavy cream. I do all of that. And so, it's going to be an adjustment because even though I do eat those things, I eat them in moderation, but I get used to that acquired taste again. And so, I think I'm going to go back to eating right for my blood type. I know I mentioned that on another episode before that I do want to start like leaning back towards a vegan diet. But I think my apprehension is that I do aspire to be a mom again. Well, I'm still a mom, but to birth another child. And I know a lot of what made me start back eating meat or just dairy or anything other than a vegan diet was that I naturally have a high metabolism. With me having Crohn's, I don't have like an out of this world appetite. So my doctor was very adamant about me eating more protein and more dairy and more things to like fatten me up so my baby could get the nutrients that he needed while I was pregnant outside of prenatal vitamins. So I think that's the one thing that is holding me back from going the distance and returning back to the lifestyle that I'm used to as far as veganism, is because I know that I don't want to do it and jump back into that and
then
then
have to flip
and
flop.
then gotta
Yeah.
flip the script again. So I'm gonna
That
pray
makes
about
sense.
it. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna do whatever. But once again, I'm going to see a new primary care physician next week. Well, in 2 weeks, and from there, I'm gonna try to get a new GI doctor. And those two, I trust that them in concert with my OBGYN will give me the best advice about how to move forward.
Congratulations on conquering Crohn's. I know you used the word suffering earlier, and I always want to, a part of me wants to always correct people and say, no, you're conquering this disorder because you're actively taking care of yourself and doing something to get a resolution and heal yourself. So kudos to you on that. And let me know how your doctor's appointment goes.
I
I'm
definitely
interested.
will, because I will. Because if I don't like them, I'm gonna call you and be like, "Hey,
I
who
know
is this
that
weirdo?"
I know that you're going to like him though.
Yeah.
So
Well, when I found out that he was a homeopathic physician, it really spoke to me because I like, I understand that sometimes big pharma is kind of inevitable. Like we got to do certain things, once we get too far gone with certain illnesses and things like that. But I also like to have somebody that understands that that's not the only way. And so
that's
I actually am
open.
looking forward to meeting him. And that's weird because I've never felt like, oh, I'm excited about a doctor's appointment. But I'm actually excited about this appointment because I'm excited to have some type of regulation with just the last 2 years of grief and all the stuff I've had going on. I've had a lot of ups and downs and complications with my Crohn's because once again, the external factors, the stress, the grief, the sadness, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm crying, I can't eat, all this stuff is going on. So
It
I'm
stacks
excited.
up and the body
Yeah,
keeps the score. We know that
absolutely.
for sure. Speaking of things stacking up, I wanted to talk about something a little different. So I was talking with one of my friends yesterday, and we were just having a very sheer conversation about navigating these silos of life where you feel overwhelmed. It's like you get into these pockets of feeling anxious, feeling overwhelmed, feeling super emotional. And maybe it's just for a day, maybe it's for 2, 3 days, and then you cool like after that. But maybe it lasts a lot longer than that, and you're just constantly in, this tug of war kind of fight. She shared with me something that I never really thought about, and it really unlocked my understanding of grief in a different way. And what she said was, she shared that sometimes she feels like she's grieving a life that she didn't get, the life that she anticipated having. And I just think that's so interesting. And I know that like a part of the grief of losing someone that's transitioned, it is that layer of we didn't get to do all these things, it takes away from the life that you thought you were going to have with this person included.
Yeah.
But what about, aside from losing people and also factoring in relationships, maybe the person is still physically here, but you're no longer with that person. You start to grieve the life that you thought you were going to have with that person. We were supposed to get married. We were supposed to have children together. We were supposed to travel and do all these different things. And it doesn't happen. You begin to grieve that part of life too.
Yeah.
But people aside, we take the people out of the equation and we look at the sheer fact that the lives that many of us thought we were going to have from adolescence typically don't pan out the way that we thought it was going to. It's not the fairy tale structure, because when you are young, even down to being in high school and being a little bit more aware of the world, you're still in that fishbowl, I like to say, of, you have that protection around you of like, okay, well, your dreams still matter and these things could possibly happen. And then when you become an adult and you start to have real life experiences and your life starts to take the trajectory that it's taken, I think there's a lot of grief that comes with that. And a lot of it is undiscussed. Like people, we get locked into navigating life, right? Getting up for work, dealing with the emotional, dealing with the anxiety, not recognizing that some of this that's showing up is because of grief. And we don't recognize that because I feel like, especially in the Black household, we don't talk about grief enough. You know, we are taught and we're wired to keep going. We never really understood, as Black people, I feel like we never really understood death in itself, right? But then it's also looking at it from the spectrum of just letting things go. We carry a lot with us as people.
So quickly, it's funny that you say that because I'm thinking as you're saying that, that's why my face is like, oh, okay. Okay, so to know me is to know that I am a very blunt and honest person. And sometimes I tend to veer on the side of pessimism because I like to, even at work, I always tell people like I under promise, over deliver. Like I would rather things work out really well, but I expect them to not work out. Mm-hmm. So it's funny that you say like the life that we thought we were going to have when we were younger, because of my life, I didn't expect a fairy tale, which is so odd because my life turned out way better than I thought it would be. My mom had me at 17. You couldn't have told me at 15 or 16 that I wasn't going to have a baby young. Like I just knew I was going to be a teen mom because, that's what society tells us, that you born to a teen mom, you're going to be one too. And I literally just thought I was always going to have, by 21, I would have had a baby and I, not necessarily struggling, but I would have a mediocre life because that's what I kind of saw around me. Not necessarily mediocre, but just like I saw that things don't necessarily work out the way you expect them to. So I wanted better, but I just assumed that, I was going to have the basics or the bare minimum that I saw around me. And for me to make it to 33 before I had my first child, before I had my first pregnancy, to be completely honest, I never had an abortion, never had a miscarriage. I had my first pregnancy I'll take that back. I did have a miscarriage, but that was a little different. But I did have that, but I was still 28 or 29 when that happened because I had already bought my first home when I had the miscarriage. So I was still
you beat the odds
way above the curve. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And not only that, the one career that I've ever wanted in my life is the one that I'm in now. Like, and my friends will always say that, like, even my college friends will say that of the three of us that literally hung together, I'm the only one who really did what they set out to do. Like I told everybody in college, I'm going to law school after this. This is what I'm going to do. And though my actual journey getting there was a little bit different because I would have thought I was going to law school right after undergrad. I went to grad school first, bought a house, started businesses, then went to law school. It's really weird because the life that I thought I was going to have, I got something so much better. I didn't have that fairy tale dream, which was crazy. I just knew that my life was just going to be regular, or so I thought. And
you're a unicorn.
Yeah, it actually turned out to be very, very fulfilling. Even with the loss of my son, which is very traumatic and very devastating, I still love that. I always say I'm thankful that he had two great parents. Like his dad was phenomenal. It still is a phenomenal person. Very, very good. Like, every single doctor's appointment, he didn't miss anything at our son's school, was always there and up front. Like it was never an argument over like, when you coming to get your kid, none of that. It was picturesque in a way that I would have never imagined. So it's, I think, like you said, I'm probably one of the few people who can say that I didn't have expectations that my life was going to turn out this good. I would have never saw it. I just thought that I was going to be basic. Like even after law school, like I was working this crazy ass job as a public defender, making pennies on a dollar. And I thought that, that was still good. I didn't know that when I moved back home, I was going to make way more than I was making in Alabama to do less work. You know what I'm saying? Even now, I never expected, like you couldn't have told me 10 years ago that I would like working from home. or I was going to have the freedom to do what I do now as far as career wise. And it all worked out great.
So that's so interesting, because that's like the other side of the coin, right? Is having the life experience that you had and not expecting much out of it because of, the statistics and what we're up against in general. When you have a card like that that's dealt, I'm going to say this. When I was young, I remember thinking to myself, I knew for a fact that when I turned about 22, I was going to be married with a child, at least one, by then. When I turned 22 in real life, I was not thinking about marriage or children because I was still in undergrad and, wrapping up that experience. And it was just such a far-fetched idea for me.
Yeah.
I will say that in learning and discussing this with my friend, I was just thinking about the power of pivoting and also just having the permission, not even the permission, you don't need the permission to reinvent yourself as many times as you want. We talked about it yesterday. Today she sends me this post that has the different pictures with messages on them that people post on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Well, this therapist posted this, and it's actually from Real Talk Therapist on Instagram if you want to follow her, because this was just so good. All the things that she posted on this post were really good. But this one particular message, it stood out to us because of what we had been talking about yesterday. And so she said, you can grieve the life you didn't get and still build the one that you deserve at the same time. And so two things can be true. You can grieve that relationship, that engagement that may have fallen through, the person that you thought that you were going to be, the career that you thought that you were going to have when you were a teenager, maybe even the career that your parents wanted you to have, that you felt inclined to want for yourself, but it's really not what you wanted. Two things could be true at the same time. And while you're grieving that and grieving all the things that comes along with that, you're still responsible for building a life that you deserve and that you desire at the end of the day. Yeah. And you're entitled to change that. And I think that when we realize that we're entitled to change that, and we truly do have the freedom to change it, then the narrative starts to shift and it makes the grief a lot less. It lessens the blow of the grief that we're looking at when we're looking at our book of life and like, well, I didn't do this, well, I didn't get to, and this person left me, or he did this or she did that. Like, okay, the unfortunate half is that life goes on, but the good thing is that life goes on. Yeah, so you get more.
So it's so crazy that you say that, because I think going through this grief journey, the issue is that obviously I don't like that I lost my kid, and I don't like that my sisters have experienced this too, because each of them in 2 years I lost my niece. Well, I'm sorry, let's be very frank. In 2 years I lost my great nephew. My niece could not give birth to her child because of the brain wasn't developing. She had to have a medical abortion. A few months later she passed away. A few months later my son passed away. A year later my nephew got murdered. So in talking to my sisters, it's funny because I always say that I'm a lawyer and I have the logic. So I'm usually the pessimistic one. Like, everything has to be black and white for me. Well, one of my sisters is a therapist. So everything is she's a Pisces. She's very emotional. Everything is
in color.
Everything is in color. Everything is different feelings.
That's coming from the daughter of a Pisces.
And so she's one of those people that, she's very, very sad. Like, my sister would literally honestly tell you, I cry every day when I miss my daughter. And I miss my son every single day. And out of a 7-day week, I might cry 3 days or 4 days, because the other days I'm like, okay, Tash, you got to be strong. But one of the things we always say to each other, once again, because I don't like to say I dwell in pessimism, because I do try to be very optimistic and positive, but I'm also a very realistic person. So that's what I say about, by tradition and by trade, because of what I do. Like, I've been taught to put feelings to the side and look at logic, look at the black and white facts of things. Like, that's my everyday job, is to look at the facts. No emotions, no feelings, just facts. And so because of that, we always make this joke, like, I put the bar so low for myself. When I woke up on November 1st, 2023, which was the day after my son passed, I literally knew, I'm not gonna say I knew, but in my mind, by June 2024, I was gonna be on crack. That's what I thought. Like, my whole thing was, this is such a devastating thing. You just gonna drown. You just gonna lose yourself. You're gonna forget. And my whole thing was that's okay, because it happens every day. So me and my sister often joke, because I set the bar so low. Like, when I do get up and do things and I feel strong and I'm okay, I'll be like, girl, at least we ain't on crack. Like, me and my sister would be like, we've been spending so much money buying clothes, trying to look cute and trying to make ourselves feel better throughout the grief. And I'll be like, girl, spend the money, girl, because we could be spending it on crack. Like, you know what I'm saying? We both be like, you're right.
Happens.
Like, I put that in perspective because I was thinking about that yesterday, where, there's a lot of people like me who've lost their children. I know a lady who lost 2 of her kids, but everybody's not like me. Like, I not trying to like brag, but the fact that I get up every day and still show up for myself, still show up for other people, and try to press forward is a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? But a year ago, 2 years ago, I didn't think that was possible. Like, I set the bar so low because my thing was, you're going through something you've never experienced before. You can't set an expectation too high.
I had to learn that too. And like, the proximity looks so different when you talk about the loss of a child. I can't imagine. I pray that that's never my reality, because I know in my heart how heavy that is. That's from my proximity of losing a parent, going through the motions of feeling like this person is healing, and they're getting better, and then it just takes a turn. What do you do after that? And I did feel like I don't really know what I'm supposed to do and how I'm going to carry on, because it was such a heavy blow. But I had to get to the point, and like you said, there are still days. There is not a day that goes by that I don't think about my dad.
Yeah.
There's just not a day that goes by that I don't think about him. Or I want to call him, and just want to talk to him or laugh or send him something funny that I saw on Instagram. And I don't have that in the physical, know. But I had to make a choice. It got to a point where I was drinking a lot more than I should have been. I wanted to, just sleep in constantly. And I had to make a choice. No, get up, get dressed. Yeah. Because you get to do this. Yeah. Like, life goes on. And again, the shitty part is that life goes on. But also the good part is that life goes on. Yep. So I get to be here, and I get to live as his legacy and to do the things that he would have wanted me to do. And I had to start looking at it like that. And in that way is when I start to feel like, okay, I can be okay with this. I'm going to have to be okay with this. And I felt similarly, it's a completely different magnitude when you lose someone in the physical, but grieving a relationship that I thought was going to work out for the long run. Yeah. But when shit hit the fan,
I've been there too.
Okay, like, I went from living with a partner to living alone, and I enjoy living by myself so much more because it was so peaceful. Mm-hmm. But there were nights where I was just like, I can't believe that this is my reality, or having to face people who are not as kind and emotionally intelligent, and they have so much to say about your situation and what you should have done differently or what you should have never done. Yep. And it's having to deal with that and the grief of that. Like, I'm already having a rough time, grieving the fact that this didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to. And then you topple it with that, like, with the opinions of others. It's a thing. So we were both like, dang, this was so timely to see something like that. Like, two things can be true. It was a sheer reminder that yes, you can grieve the life that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah.
The life that I thought I was going to have as a child, being married at 22 and I'm 31 and no children, no marriage. I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, I get what I want. For one, what's supposed to happen will happen. And I do believe that. I get to
Yeah.
build the life that I desire still.
And I think that's the one thing that, as being somebody that's extremely spiritual and that believes in, many spiritual practices, I think, I actually had that conversation with my aunt today. And I actually have it all the time with his father about, like, I just want to make my son proud, because my whole thing was, I think, like you said, I, you know, a few days after losing him, naturally people's response is to come over and bring drinks and all this other stuff. And I was very intentional about, I'm not about to start drinking.
That's why I bought you fruit.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this, because my whole thing was I can fall down that slippery slope so quick. And, it's different, I think. And I can't say because I haven't been there, but I think it's different as a parent, especially when you're an adult and you lose your parent, because most people, when they become adults, their situations and how they view their parents, it changes a lot, and their parents start to view them in a different way. But me losing a 2-year-old, it's different because, like, for example, my niece, when she passed, she was 22, almost, what, was she 23 yet? Girl, I got so many nieces and nephews, I can't keep up. But she was in that age range.
I'm
and,
like that with my siblings. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's only 2 of them.
And she lost, so, like, it was in that age range where she was, she could go out and have drinks with me and my sister, like, she had just had to have a medical abortion to lose her child. So we already knew she was doing it. She was living with her boyfriend. We saw her in a different light. And so I think with me losing my 2-year-old, I look at it like my son wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff. And his father and I made sure that we kept him from so much stuff until he was age appropriate. Like, we didn't watch certain things in the house while he was awake. And, we didn't say certain things to each other. We didn't expose him, like, to certain stuff. So as a mom, earth side, my thing is always, don't do stuff that you wouldn't do in front of your child if he was here. And I think that's what kept me and keeps me from making the wrong decisions, because my thought is, I don't want my son to wake up, in heaven and be like, let me look down and check on my mama, and I'm doing something that's so out of the norm. Like, I don't want that to be the case. You know what I'm saying? And I might just be crazy thinking like that, but that's what keeps me on the proper trajectory, because I keep saying that I want to make sure my son is proud of me. I want to make sure that when my son is like, God, let me look down and check on my mama, he's like, oh, she's doing good. She's okay. I don't want to ever feel like, he's going to see me and be like, damn, I died and my mama just fell off. Like, I don't want that to be the case. Like, I don't want to feel like, I don't want to say a loser, but I don't want to feel like, I've been so busy in my life being the strong person. I don't want to, being weak is like a vulnerability. And I'm like, okay, I got to be strong. You know what I'm saying? I got to do this. I got to keep pressing forward, because not only is he looking at me, but like you said, life still goes on and I still have to live life after this.
I will say that, like you said, like, you got to be strong. I don't necessarily feel like we have to be strong. I think too much of our lives as Black women, our lives are engulfed in that. It's engulfed in our strength. Yeah. And, like, oh, you gotta just keep pressing forward. Just be strong. Don't cry. No, I need to cry. I'm gonna need a good breakdown, here and there. I'm gonna need a good moment to cry it out, because this is hard, and you're also unlearning the person that you were. For you as a mother in the physical, and learning this new version of yourself. For me, as a daughter who had a father, I don't have a father anymore. Yeah. So when Father's Day comes around, it feels very unfair. I don't get on social media. I think I'm still sitting with that, you know. But it's the understanding, like, I don't feel like I gotta be strong, but I do think it's my responsibility to keep going.
Yes, absolutely.
And whatever that looks like, whatever it looks like for the day, like, maybe my my moment of going is in tears.
Yeah.
You know, because
Well, I let the feels, when I do feel the feels, I let them come, but I try not to dwell in it, so to speak. Like,
oh yeah, you can't live there.
I don't let it. So that's when I say I try to be strong. Like, I let the feels come, but I try to, like, you know, like circumvent that a little bit, because I'd be like, okay, like, this is a natural feeling, but you know, I still got trial in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I still got stuff I got to do.
Yeah, we still gotta go to work and show up, and you know. But I'm also transparent with people that I work with. Hey, I'm not having the best day today.
Yeah.
It's nothing that you've done. I'm just, you know, just having a little bit of a rough patch. It'll be fine. I think that's important. That's what makes us human. So I'm grateful for this segment today and this conversation, because I feel like we just like uncovered a lot, and I hope that it resonates with somebody, with everything that we've discussed and everything that we've just shared, and just the understanding that two things can be true. You can definitely grieve the life that you thought you were going to have, and still build a life that you deserve and desire.
Yes.
Yeah. So I do want to jump forward. We got into the nooks and crannies of that, didn't we?
Well, you know what?
It was good. It's good though.
So I think I want to transition, only because, so when we go to sound check, so back to what we were just talking about, my song right now is IRL.
What's IRL?
It's by SZA and Lizzo. It's a Lizzo song featuring SZA in real life. And that's what...
It's so interesting, because I would never think that you would like either of them. I know you said that you really didn't care for SZA.
Well, I used to really like Lizzo when she first came out. When she started talking too much and doing too much on social media, it kind of turned me off. But
I like Lizzo.
That is one of those songs that makes me feel super empowered. Like, when I hear that she's like, I'm a bad bitch in real life, I do this in real life, and it's like, that's me. Like, you know, you can't tell me, once again, that my superpower and my strength hasn't come from experiencing all these losses. Like, when people say stuff to me, that'd be the first thing I say. Like, I'm not saying that I wear it like a badge of honor, but I literally would tell people, like, listen, motherfucker, I done lost 3 kids in 2 years. Okay? Because, like I said, I had my kid at 33. My sisters started having kids, one at 16, one at 17, almost 18. So I've been raising children, helping raise children. I got a nephew that's 30 years old. I got great nieces and nephews that are older than my son. Like, my nephew started having kids before I had a kid. So when I look at the fact that I have experienced this loss, like, you know, I remember my sister came home and told me she was pregnant with Raven. I remember Raven's first birthday party, first diaper, all of these things. My nephew Rashad, I remember when my sister had him when he was little. Like, I remember these things. And so I wear that as a badge of honor. Like, I've experienced all of this, and I can still get up every day and see the good in life. I can get up every day, and this is in real fucking life. Like, this happened to me. Like, this is my real reality. And it's funny because I meet people, and when I tell them I'm experiencing so much grief, like, they will literally look at me physically and be like, you don't look like it.
Yeah.
Nah, because I ain't trying to look like what I've been through. Like, in real life, I'm a bad bitch, because you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah, thank
God.
I've
experienced the worst, and I think that has shaped me into, like, you know, like a menace, because when I meet people and shit don't go my way, I be like, it don't faze me, it don't affect me, because you know how much I've lost. And I'm still kicking. You know how much I've been through, and I'm still here. So that's one of those songs that really puts me in a happy mood. And I think not only because of the lyrics and the message it's trying to portray. It's a badass Missy sample on there. And I love me some Melissa Elliott, baby. She sampled Missy, Party People. Listen. And then they sampled Splack Pack. Just shake that ass, bitch, and let me see what you got. Missy. Like, so that took me back to the old school 90s twerking, like we talked about last episode.
We're going to have to do a whole segment on Missy alone at some point, because Missy is not to be played with.
Nobody can tell me.
I'm not going to even get into it. Let's not even get into it. We're going to save that.
We're going to save that. But those samples work together so well, and they meshed in that song. And I like, that is like, for me, like, women's empowerment song of the summer. Like,
yeah, and I feel like we need those. We need those gems.
Yes.
You know, to keep us going and remind us of who we are, because life does get tough. Like, just like we just talked about, you get into these modes of, you know, feeling anxious. Am I doing the right thing? You know, maybe even feeling unworthy for some people, or questioning your self-worth, your love of self, respect of self, all the things. You know, we need those things to remind us of who we are. I haven't heard the song, but I am going to go listen to it when I leave here. So I'm influenced. But you spoke about the lyrics in the song, and so what I actually wanted to talk about for sound check is misheard lyrics.
Oh God!
Because, and I'm going to tell you who inspired this.
Then I be Kev on stage,
Kev on
with
stage.
no condemnation. Oh,
Kev on stage cracks me up daily. Okay, I follow him and I'm like, he ain't got no good sense. None.
And I absolutely love him for that.
Yes, but you could, like, I get such good energy from him just, you know, on social media. So I enjoy his content. But when I saw that, when he posted that misheard lyric, no condemnation,
and he threw that condom behind his head, I was like, sir, get off the internet. We need to take your account. Log you out. Look, in my best Andre 3000 voice, log out. Okay? Because you got to get on back, sir. You need to go take care of your children.
But it sent me down a rabbit hole of thinking of all the songs that I thought, or that someone mentioned to me in conversation, saying, oh, I thought that they were saying this. They didn't say that in the song. I think most notably, this is one for most people, is the whole 5'2" or 5'2" dilemma with Lloyd, right? That's the most notable one for us to say. Is he saying she's fine too also? Or she's 5'2"?
He's saying she's fine too.
I thought fine too also.
Because, you know, I have a personal relationship.
Oh,
and we've asked that before. And it's fine too. He was like, why would I say 5'2"? And I was like, because nigga, you about 5'7". You're not even that tall. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you might want a short woman. You know what I'm saying? But it's fine too.
I didn't know that he was short.
He ain't that girl.
Oh, he's a short king.
He ain't that tall.
Wow.
He ain't. No.
Well, okay. So I'm about to tell you something I remember my friend said to me when we were kids, and I was so taken aback by this. So one of the misheard lyrics is from Waterfalls by TLC. Most people say, or did say, don't go Jason Waterfalls.
Why would somebody say that?
Or I've also heard go Jason Waterfalls. I don't know who Jason is, but people allegedly thought that these were the lyrics. But one of my friends from middle school, I remember we were at her house, like we were having like a sleepover for the weekend, and she was like, when Left Eye starts rapping, and she says, I dry the tears from my eyes, no more lonely cries. She said, I thought she was saying, I dry the tears from my eyes, no bologna fries.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Like,
you know what? And it's crazy.
I remember looking at her like, what?
It's crazy that we even having this conversation, because I wanted to do like,
how did you get that from that?
Outside of Trash Literature Tuesdays, you know, I listen to so much music and stuff, like of so much various, like vast collection of music, and I wanted to do like toxic lyrics, like stuff that we listened to back then and we sang along with, that now that we older and we got a lot of emotional maturity, we like, oh, what is this? Yeah. But speaking of misheard lyrics, which is weird because I usually kind of be knowing what these songs be saying, but it took me, I was probably like an adult before I realized that J-Lo was saying R-U-L-E. I thought she was saying, are you ready? Because girl, what?
Yeah. That's a common one. Like, yes. I thought she said the same thing.
I thought she was saying, are you ready? And then she's talking about R-U-L-E. I'm like, girl, what?
Was it even J-Lo? That was saying that?
Well, it wasn't her. We found that out now. You see? She was in the video. She was the doppelganger, but we do want her vocals.
Questions that need answers. So I reached out to Kenya today, my sister, and I just asked her, like, what are some because I know
Key is also our resident DJ too. Just shameless plug.
Yes, she is our resident DJ for the pod. DJ Honey Noir. Let me throw that in there. But I reached out to her because we have had these conversations before, and I could not think like the songs that she was telling me about and we were laughing about. And so she says, "Oh my gosh, Shake It Off by Mariah Carey." Mm-hmm. And I said, "What in Shake It Off, like, did you mishear?"
Yeah.
And she said, when Mariah Carey says, "You would cheat with all your freaks and lie impulsively."
Yeah, I knew she said that.
She said, I can't even get it out. I can't even get it out because I was snickering. I was trying like to not be loud because where I was at when she told me this. But she said, I thought she was saying you would cheat with all your freaks in Dragon Ball Z.
Y'all, that I literally just spit my damn drink in my cup because why would Mariah Carey be watching Dragon Ball Z?
But she was like, and then I thought about it, like, what does Mariah Carey know about Dragon Ball Z? And then I said, well, I think we would be surprised. She might know a lot about Dragon Ball Z. We just don't know because we don't know a whole lot about Mariah. But another one that she was telling me about was was T.I. song. This is funny too. She said, why you wanna, that song, Why You Wanna? Mm-hmm. So, you know, he be like, go and tell it, no, with it, so fat. Hey, why you wanna go and do that, love, huh? She thought he said, why you wanna go and do that, little punk?
What?
Why you wanna go and do that, little punk? Huh? I said, what?
What?
At what point this texture,
what did the song, like,
the whole synopsis, the texture of the song, nothing about this says that he should
crazy.
be addressing a woman like that.
That is
little
so crazy.
Punk.
Like,
why you want to go and do that, little punk? Hey.
That makes me think of like how I think as Black people we kind of like come up with stuff because for whatever reason I don't know why, you know, the Black song of choice at weddings and family gatherings is Before I Let Go. When he's telling you that you're good, but I got to let you go. This ain't it. And it's like, huh? Like, are y'all, it lets me know that people don't listen to the lyrics.
We listen to the vibe.
We listen to the vibe. Which takes me to another point.
Oh, actually, can I add something in about the weddings and gatherings? Because Let's Get Married by Jagged Edge is not the flex that we think it is.
Absolutely not.
It never was.
It never was. Like,
listen to the lyrics a bit closer.
Yes.
And you'd be like, oh, we ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it.
Yeah, it's like a settling. Absolutely. It was kind of like,
well.
You ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to do. Well, we might as well do nothing together.
We ain't getting no younger, so yeah, let's come on and do it. I know I put you through hell, but no, that's not the flex we think it is. I ain't gonna lie. I still be listening to it sometimes because I like the musicality of it.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't listen to the original version. If I listen to it, I'm always gonna listen to the remix version with Rev Run because the vibe is just better. So it makes the settling seem a little bit cooler.
What's going on
across the sea? Like, yeah.
I miss when Rev Run used to take a hot bath and be on his BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I love that show. I think it was a very very down to earth. That was like one of our first depictions of a Black reality show that was real. It
was wholesome
and
too.
Wholesome, yes, absolutely wholesome.
Ron's House was a good show.
Absolutely good.
They need to bring it back.
And it wasn't one of those things that was like really fake. It was a blended family coming together. I'm trying to change my life and be a pastor, and I'm trying to bring my family along with this. And it shows the real, you know, that real power struggle, like, you know, between him and the wife, between him and the kids, the wife and the baby mama. Like, it was a real honest, you know, show. And I love that about that.
Yeah, I do too. And I was at a really good time too. It was at a good time for music, for fashion.
Oh yeah. Remember they had those pastries, the pastry shoes, and they little line.
I love me some Angela and Vanessa Simmons.
Yes.
They were it girls that I feel like they don't get talked about enough.
Well, Angela Simmons definitely does because of her little stint with Yo Gotti, but it's not what she wanted that publicity to be like.
I mean like, you know, celebrated, you know, and for what their contributions to the fashion
They weren't,
industry.
and then they weren't overly sexual. They weren't overly like, you know, Barbie-fied with the, you know, the lips and the BBLs and the extensions and all the stuff. They were just naturally them, you know, like living and walking in their truth of who they were as Black women. Like, this is just
natural bodies.
It was like, the hands that we were dealt, and we're
beautiful.
living with this.
And I actually really loved my pastries. I had the brown ones with the orange bottoms, and I just swore that I kept them, and apparently I didn't. I was low-key mad about that. But
well, I'm gonna say this, and I know people are gonna be mad, but I don't give a damn, because I'm not. I don't really care.
What you about to say?
You know, pastry was cool, but that House of Darion shit was trash. Beyonce really, you know, I expected a lot more from Beyonce.
Oh, you about to ruffle some feathers.
I'm just gonna be honest. I expected a whole lot more from Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. I mean, she wasn't Carter then, but House of Darion was really.
I liked House of Darion.
I did not, girl. Them fashions were so late. I just could not do it.
And I had some House of Darion jeans, and I think I had a House of Darion coat. Yeah, I liked House of Darion, but you know, again, reinventing yourself.
But you know what? I feel like all of her clothing lines do that, because this last one, this Ivy Park, we ain't heard about that in how long?
But I have some Ivy Park too, though.
But Ivy Park, it was like hitting the streets like crack, and then 2 months later it was gone. And then I'm not, you know, we can talk about this on another episode. But I think one of the things that did her in is like, girl, we tired of seeing Toby Inigwe and his mint green with his pick me ass wife. I'm sorry, and I hate to feel like that about that lady, because she from Flint, and I try to support other Michiganders, but ain't nothing about her a true Michigander, because girl, ain't no way.
I didn't know she was from Flint.
She's from Flint. She either from Flint or Grand Rapids.
I thought they were from Texas.
She's not. She's either from Flint or Grand Rapids. Let me look it up. She ended up moving there. I think she was in school there. This is how she met him, because he was playing like either college football or he was playing like some kind of interleague of football. But when they tell their origin story about how he used to take her car and pick her up from work late, and he didn't really like her at first, but she kept trying to push herself on him.
I remember seeing
it's giving major pick me vibes. Like, wow. I ain't like that. Yeah, and I didn't like that.
And a part of me is like, why would you tell people that?
I wouldn't.
But at the same time, it's like, well, dang, that's their truth. So I guess why not, if that's what you're willing to share with the world. But I like Toby. I like his music, and I like the vibe. I can understand like people growing tired of like seeing that color.
Yeah, but
I think it's different for what we're used to seeing. Like, we usually don't see people with an aesthetic like that, and I think maybe that's what keeps him a part of what keeps him relevant, because he is talented. I enjoy quite a few of his songs, and they got a whole bunch of kids too, don't they?
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, is because when you look online, they say that she's a Capricorn, and I just don't. As a Capricorn woman, girl, ain't nobody about to treat me like a second-rate citizen.
Well,
and he
what's
like
her big
that.
three look like?
And he looked like that. Because let me tell you something. Ain't nothing about Toby Inigwe that I want to wake up to in the next morning.
Ooh, I choose you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you know, some people say, that's very what people say, that's very I can't even think of the word right now. Like, oh, that's very vain of you to feel like. No, I'm not waking up. Listen, yes, I do like people for their personality, but I got to see your face before I see your personality, and I'm not waking up next to that every day.
Well, speaking of waking up next to that every day, I know you caught what happened earlier in the week on the internet streets at the Coldplay concert.
You know.
Let's slide on over to Rhythm and Groove.
Because, you know, the way that
it popped up on my timeline, and I was like, what is this? And so, just to fill you guys in, if you haven't seen, there was a bit of a scandal, allegedly, that happened at the Coldplay concert.
Well, ain't no allegedly. They body language. Listen, like I told somebody else, people always say, don't lawyer me. I try to take my legal mind out of stuff, but baby, the way they reacted to that, it wasn't no alleged.
Maybe they're cousins. I don't
Ain't
know.
no alleged. So what? So yeah, but either way it go, y'all knew y'all was wrong because as soon as he said, "Look at them," y'all both. She turned around and covered her face, and he dropped down and got his eagle on so fast. He dropped down. Listen, he dropped down to his knees so fast, baby. I thought I was
flap your wings.
I thought I was watching an old school Nelly video. I didn't know if it was flap your wings or tip drill, baby, because he hit the ground so quick.
Flap your wings.
Yes, because listen, and literally he had sweat dripping all over his body after that because I know he was nervous. I know he was nervous.
He's got that sweat.
And if people go back and really look at the video, homegirl, she had on a ring.
Oh, I didn't zoom in that.
She had on a ring. He didn't.
Okay, so let's give the people a synopsis of what actually happened for those who are unaware. At the Coldplay concert this past week, Coldplay's band member or lead singer Chris Martin, he accidentally exposed Astronomer CEO and his HR chief of staff for having an affair. They were hugged up on a jumbotron. You can go and see this on pretty much any platform, any social media platform. But they're hugged up. I mean, they hugged up tight, like they, a couple rock steady at a concert, listening to their favorite song by Coldplay, and boom, jumbotron hits them, and all eyes are on them. And
because it was like a kiss cam.
Oh yeah, it was.
And they were like, "Oh, look at this couple," and they shine the light on them.
Yeah,
and like in 2 seconds, and it's crazy because
they both like jumped like off of each other. But why would you? If that's the case, I mean, I guess you might get to a point in your relationship. We don't know how long they've been allegedly dealing with each other. But if you get to a point in your relationship, you might be a little comfortable and feel like, oh, we could go out to a concert and nobody's going to see us.
Well, not only that, but they took somebody that worked with them. So that means y'all be gallivanting around work. Because they said the other girl that was in close proximity to them that you can see on the video, so, people do their research. They said that she just got a promotion from the HR lady. So it was kind of like, so y'all are really bold enough to not only go out as a couple, but y'all are taking people with y'all. Like, that was just absolutely asinine to me. Like, what?
I agree. And I don't know. It's just so many questions come to mind, but the number one question I wanted to ask you is, have you ever dated someone within the workplace yourself?
No. To be completely, now that I think about it, I'm going to say no in the regards of actual work. It's weird because in a weird way, I consider, because of the intimacy of the number of people in every level at law school, I kind of looked at that as work. And so like my law school boyfriend, we went to school together. And that was kind of odd because it was like when we got into it, we got a small campus. Everybody knew. Like it was a whole ordeal. Like, oh yeah, he done made her mad today. So it was really like crazy. And I hate to say this like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck because y'all know I don't care. In my current life, no. I'm never, well, outside of just obvious other stuff, but I can't date nobody at work because most of the people I work with are white men. Like really weird white. I'm a lawyer. Like it's a white man dominated field. Like you very rarely get decent dateable black men in the field from what I've seen. Like I was a public defender. Now I work on the prosecution side for the state. And I will say that recently, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I had a hearing. I had a deposition. I had to depose an attorney who has done a lot of things wrong. He was a middle-aged, older black man. I felt completely disrespected because he was like, pretty much, I how can I say this? Like, without being completely vulgar. But in my mind, the way I said it to my coworker was like, he did everything but take his private parts out and put them on the table, like in the deposition. Like when we asked him, like, are you married? Because she's also a black woman, decently, she's an attractive black woman, and she and I were the only two people that were deposing him. And it was very odd because we were sitting there talking to him and we were asking him demographic questions before we got into the actual deposition portion of the proceeding. And when we asked questions like, are you married? Like, he was like making faces like, oh no, and my parents wouldn't be happy about that. And kind of like smirking like, yeah, I'm single, and then we were kind of like, oh, do you have any children? He's like, oh, well, my parents will be mad about that too. And like looking at me and like making this smirk on his face, so much so that I came home and like told my cousins, I told my baby daddy, I told everybody, like, this man was flirting at me with me at work, and I didn't like that. Like, I've took it really personal, and I tend to notice that. I don't know if other litigators or black women in the legal space listen to us, but I wonder, do they feel, it was one of those things. It's like, it's really hard as a black woman in this field, because for whatever reason, when I encounter other black men that are attorneys, for whatever reason, they feel like they're the prize and I should be happy to be in their presence, or I'm automatically attracted to them because they're another black person in this space. Mm-hmm. And sir, I could care less what you do, especially him, because it was like, sir, I'm prosecuting you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even do your job
your
correctly.
Integrity is
like, you already
right
not,
now.
I already don't trust who you are. Yeah. And then the way you tried to lead with like, I'm a member of this illustrious, like he's a member of the Divine Nine community. And the way he tried to lead with that, like, that was supposed to...
You got to tell me which one off air.
Yeah, that would ruffle my feathers. Yeah. Like, well, I can tell you now. Well, he's sitting over there with your little monkey face. Get away from me. Like, get away from me. Like, you sitting over there with your little slick back, with your little perm.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, just get away from me. Like, sir,
it's a whole thing.
That's not cool. So I try to stay away. Like, to be completely honest, my rule of thumb is I would not and have not, outside of my law school partner, I would not and have not dated anybody in law enforcement. Because even though I'm an attorney, we're considered law enforcement. And I know what that entails. Like, I see that all the time. I done sat in jails and listened to deputies talk about, other attorneys and other women and all that. And I don't want to be mixed up in that. Like, I ain't trying to be funny, but like, even though I'm an extreme professional woman, on the side of the spectrum of degrees and all that stuff, I like me a little blue collar man, to be completely honest, because I like a person that's hardworking, that got some ethics. And I grew up with a father and a grandfather and a stepfather who were hands-on as fixing stuff in your house and doing this. You know what I'm saying? I could call my daddy and call him right now and be like, Daddy, I need an oil change. He will get over here on his hands up under my car and fix some stuff. I like a man that can add value where value is needed. And it's hard to find that, in my opinion, in men that are very professional, that are white collar, that feel like they're the prize.
Yeah, no, I can 1000% see that, like, being a thing, especially just the way that you describe the industry of law, and like how there are not many black men that are suitable for dating.
Yes.
I now at this big age, I would absolutely not date anyone that I work with, or I'm even like skeptical about dating someone that, like you said, is in the same industry as me, or like knows too many of the same people. Like, we can know some of the same people, enough for me to get the tea on you, but I don't think that I would like that part of it. But in the past, I have dated someone that I worked with, and I can say that this person, it wasn't too bad of an experience, because the person was also just as private as a person as I was. So when we were at work, there was no like inkling that we dated. Like, we weren't having lunch together and smiling in each other's faces. You go to work and do your job, I'm at work doing my job, and when we leave here, whatever happens outside of here happens.
And see, I think that's my fear about dating somebody I work with, because as much as a very not willing to deal with my feelings type of person that I am, I want my person to love me out loud. Like, I love the touchy feely, like, I like to ride in the car with my man and hold hands, touch my lap, you know what I'm saying, bring me some food, and so that's why, like you said, I don't think I would ever date anybody I work with, because I would want to maintain that level of professionalism. And it's hard to toe that line,
Oh, it's easy. It's
when,
easy for me.
well, for me, when I'm into somebody, because I'm, like I've always said before, I'm a very black and white person. It's either we're nothing or we're something. And we're something, when you're somebody that I care about and I have feelings about, I don't want to hide it. Like, why should I?
I mean, I feel you on that, and I don't think you should if that's your placement. And I think that the type of partner that you choose is important too, right? In that factor, are y'all on the same page? Because maybe that person is not as incognito as me, right? And they do want to have, PDA, and they want to have lunch together, stuff like that. But that's something that was talked about between he and I early on, because I'm like, hey, like, well, what's your take on this? Like, I'm not really a big PDA person. Like, I don't mind like hand holding and like showing affection in public, but when we are in a professional setting, and if we're not married and we're not even in a relationship, we're definitely not, I'm not about to be all up under you and in your face. I'm just not doing that. So our friends, our friends knew that we were dating, but nobody else outside of that knew. So I have dated someone in the workplace. I would not do it now. And this is why, Saginaw. This is a totally different situation with what happened at the Coldplay concert, because obviously the CEO, which I don't think we explicitly said, but the CEO is married. And
I think
so,
she is too, because I think
yeah,
she had on a
and
ring.
and the HR chief of staff, she is apparently, possibly married as well.
Well,
So
while we're
that's,
sitting here, I'm scrolling in Twitter, and somebody said, "This is why them CEO who's wanted us back in the office so quick. They was missing their side pieces."
oh my God.
and and I'm
Points are
just,
being made.
and I'm not, and that's funny to me, because what, like,
Miss seeing you in that tight skirt and that blouse.
like, huh?
Listen, drama in a workplace. Let's jump over to the delicious dive real quick, because I wanted to share with you that I ate some flowers recently. And I don't know if people know that a lot of flowers that you see that are just so pretty and are nice to look at are also really good for you to eat too. And they're loaded with
Yes.
vitamins and nutrients. I also came across a post today. Janelle sent it to me, of a lady pickling some magnolia flowers. And I just thought that was so interesting. And she pickled them with some brown sugar and hibiscus flower. Hibiscus, which another flower. So it turned them like this pink color. But I was looking at her making it, and I'm like, I think I might be into it. Like, I think I might be willing to try that. Where am I going to get some magnolias from? I'm not sure, because I don't have magnolias in my garden. I should grow some if they will grow here. But I ate some nasturtiums.
Now, what is that?
A nasturtium, it is a flower, and I don't even know like what this flower, if this flower is native to a specific place. A lot of people plant them to keep other pests away from their garden. There's like 80 species of this flower, and it is some annual or perennial flowering plants. But this really cute flower, you probably seen it. Yeah, this little orange flower. You can put them on your salad and like eat them. So I didn't know this. Of course, my coworker and my good friend, she brought some to work, and she asked me if I had ever had it and if I wanted to try it. And me being me, I said sure. So this little flower, this cute little flower, it is spicy, and it tastes kind of like a radish, is what it puts you in the mind of. Almost like a radish, and like a little bit of a jalapeno with the spice. So it has like that, crunchiness, and I would probably put it in like chimichurri or something. Like, I could see it like inside of a chimichurri, or someone eating it with maybe some lamb or steak or something.
Okay.
Yeah, with just the way that it tastes. But I was pleasantly surprised by how it tastes. Well, most of the time you see people plant them in their gardens to keep other animals away and keep them from eating it, similar to marigolds. So I like to plant marigolds all over my garden to keep the pests away because they don't like the smell. And some people plant nasturtiums. So try a flower today. Okay,
Well,
make sure that you can actually eat that flower. But if you want to try a nasturtium, you can try that flower and it will not harm you. It will be really tasty. And I feel like it will probably catch you off guard because I did not think that that flower was going to taste like that.
well, see, at least you eating stuff good for you, because I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. Today, like actually today, I was big backing. Like, I had a taste for pizza, and I just wanted one slice of pizza, and I don't know why I forgot that I live right down the street from Costco and that I have a Costco membership, but I went to Costco and I feel very bad, but I also feel vindicated because I bought a hot dog. I bought a foot long beef hot dog, a pop, and a piece of cheese pizza. And I ate 3/4 of the hot dog and half of the pizza. And it was only $3.70. Like, I feel like I got a value for all of those things.
The bang for your buck.
Got a lot of bang for my buck. Now, did I feel good after I got home and I ate that stuff? Absolutely not. Was it delicious? Absolutely.
What's feeling?
So yeah, at least you're eating flowers, because now I feel like I'm gonna be paying for this hot dog and this cheese pizza for quite a while, because yeah, all that cheese wasn't good for me, because I told y'all, 45 minutes to an hour
you just
ago.
named about 40 different cheeses.
And when I tell you the cheese, it was so much mozzarella. But you know what? I didn't say, was mozzarella on my list?
I didn't hear mozzarella.
I don't think mozzarella was on my list, so I might have been good. But it was so much.
Heard provolone though.
It was so much cheese. Mozzarella is not on my list, but it was so much cheese, like a thick layer of cheese, and I hate that. So I couldn't really enjoy the pizza like I wanted to. But that hot dog was real good.
The cheese would have sent me overboard. That's what. I might go to Costco when I leave here.
It was so good, but let me tell you something.
I love too have a Costco membership.
I love a good hot dog, especially a nice grilled one. I mean, those weren't grilled, but I love a good hot dog with some mustard, some ketchup, and some relish on there. When I tell you, I tore that thing up with a Coke, I feel so bad. Like, I just feel bad about it. But it was good.
Enjoy it, and tomorrow make a different decision. Should you choose, maybe tomorrow you want to go back to Costco and have that same meal and run it back. It's all about choices.
Well, I'm going to start doing that, because when I'm sitting at home working from home, a lot of the times, like, Costco is literally like maybe 2 miles away from me, if that, 3 at the most. And I just feel like when I have an appetite, but I don't want anything major, especially with me going through like all of this gym stuff, like that beef hot dog, it's like a kosher beef hot dog. So I feel like it's a good, it's a good protein, and it's just quick. Like, you can get a hot dog. I think you can get the hot dog and a pop combo for like $1.50. Literally, it's $1.50 for a 20-ounce pop and a hot dog. So I just feel like, why go spend $10 at Chick-fil-A when I don't want the fries anyway, and I just want the chicken sandwich? If I'm just hungry and I'm just eating because I need to fulfill a need and I don't have a taste for anything, I just feel like I'm going to start going to Costco and slide me a little piece of pizza or a hot dog, Only thing I'm upset about is they don't have the churros anymore, because I really thought I was going to be able to get a churro, but they were out. I mean, they don't even sell them anymore. Churros. They used to sell them. Girl, let me tell you something. When I was pregnant, I used to go to Costco to get a churro and ice cream, just that. And I would dip the churro in the ice cream. It was a whole thing.
That sounds really good.
And it was.
Well, I'm glad that, I guess I'm glad for myself that they don't have that, because I probably would go to Costco just for that. And I don't need to.
Yeah, I love a good churro. Like, I don't really care for like donuts or other pastries, but a churro, that's like the way to my heart. Like, oh my God, it's just delicious.
Churros are pretty good. I had some when I was in Cuba, surprisingly. You got anything for the sanctuary scoop? I meant to do that in the beginning, but here we are.
No, I think we good. We've been coasting. Nothing big as of right now to announce.
All the usual things. Follow us.
Yes,
subscribe,
follow us on platforms.
Send a friend to our page. Tag us and stuff. All the things. DM us if you want to share something. If you got a confession or you need counseling. send it to our email at thesoulfulstir@gmail.com, or you can send it to our DM on Instagram or on TikTok, or you can send it to our personal DMs if you feel more comfortable. Send it to Tash or myself. We will not disclose your identity on air. If you want to share a confession or you have a question for the pod, we really appreciate you guys writing into us. And with that being said, we are at almost an hour and a half. We had a really good conversation today.
Yeah.
And we appreciate y'all listening. So this has been another episode of The Soulful Stir. Over and out.
See y'all next week.